My name's Ray. I'm smoking in the woodshed. How y'all doing? So today I'm smoking a Perdomo Lot 23. It's out of Nicaragua. I don't know that. Looks like maybe, I don't know. It's out of Nicaragua. Nicaraguan tobacco, which is kind of the new Cuba. I've my personal opinion. That's my personal opinion. Now, originally I lived in Florida for years. That's where I raised my daughters. So I was privy to the occasional Cuban cigar. Being that close to Cuba and all. You can go to the Bahamas, smoke Cubans, so there's that. Cuban cigars are good. Are they $150 to $200 a stick good? I honestly don't believe a single cigar on this planet's worth that kind of money. Better lay me on my back and rub my belly and sing me a sweet lullaby for that kind of dollar bill. Now they say, like Nicaragua and, South America, parts of South America, a lot of families that, left Cuba, exiled, left, whatever the reason why they went through, via Castro. They moved on, for whatever political or geopolitical reasons. It's made South America kind of the new Cuba. They took a lot of their Cuban seeds from their Cuban tobaccos and they planted them down there and that earth. And I don't know the full scientific thing, but Nicaragua makes a good cigar. And these companies, they quite frankly, they I think they get too full of themselves. Think that their tobacco is, I used to hear it in Florida was that, the reason why Cubans are so good is because they're hand rolled between the legs of, young virginal women in Cuba, and that's why they're, so expensive and so good. I don't see it. If anything, personally, I think their quality went down some to where these other upstart companies now that are, coming out of South America and what have you, and even here in some parts of the United States, they're kicking it up a notch, man. They're making it competitive, and they're making good sticks. I mean, they really and truly are. And like I said, I think Perdomo, hey, for an $8 cigar, which again in my mind's eye is spendy, because I'll smoke one of these and probably won't smoke another cigar for 4 or 5 months. And I guess that's where the story's going into, or where I'm going with the story, is that pipe tobacco versus cigars. And I don't even really think you should call it pipe tobacco versus cigars. because it's not a versus, you know. Both are enjoyable, so they're, they're not against each other. Uh, I think it's a matter of uh, flavor and taste, you know. What you want for that particular moment in life, you know. I mean, today I was in the mood for. I stopped by the local tobacconist here, and I was actually picking up pipe cleaners and some lighter fluid and some flints for my Zippos. Funny, she asked me, she goes, "Man, you've been a stranger. I ain't seen you. I thought you were dead." Literally, she said, "I thought you were dead." And I was like, no. I've just been going through a lot of eye surgery, so I ain't really been out doing much or been out much, you know, since July of last year. So we got talking about that, you know, told her what was going on, yada yada yada. So, by the way, the eye's done. I mean, there's really nothing more they can do. The only thing right now, basically, is they're just doing pain management. I got to go in a couple days and they got a laser, like a hole, for some relief for the oil to come out, because apparently, like, my iris is touching my cornea, which is the best way I can describe the pain to everybody is go rub your feet on the carpet and then go touch your doorknob or try to open up your stove, oven, or something like that, and you get that little electrical shock. Think about that in your eyeball. That's what I get. And it's been a lot of sleepless nights here for about the past 10 days or so, because every time it doesn't happen, like right now I'm sitting up, it's not going to happen. But the minute I lay prone, you know, in other words, I want to go to sleep, I'll just be laying there, and it's got no rhyme or reason. It's just random, kind of, you know, there you go, wakey wakey, and boom, I'll sit up with a jolt, literally with a jolt, you know, and that brings you out of a dead sleep. No matter what, it brings you up. You're up, you know, you feel like you just got hit with a lightning bolt. And it takes about 15-20 minutes to go back to sleep. And again, it may just say, yeah, I'll leave you alone for about 30-40 minutes, and then boom, it'll hit you again, wake you right back up. So I've had to figure out how to sleep sitting up. So I put a neck brace on and put a pillow on both sides of my head, and I sit in a chair and, you know, kind of lodge myself in as deep as I can lodge myself in, and go to sleep. I'll do that until I can't do it no more. Oh, as a young man, I used to sleep sitting up all the time. It's just, you know, if you're tired and you need to sleep, your body says, "I'm gonna get some sleep." By gosh, you get some sleep. As an older fella now, makes other things hurt. You know, bones ache, hips ache, knees, and this and that, because you're sleeping sitting up. You're doing something that ain't natural. You know, I ain't a horse. You know. We were all meant to sleep on our backs or sides or whatever. Yeah. We're meant to sleep prone. So anyways, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I guess they're, like I said, here come Thursday, they're gonna see what they can do to alleviate that situation. Doctor gave me pain pills. It's like a fart in a bathtub. It don't really do that good. All it does, it makes me sleepy. Guess what? I get jolted right up. Apparently this particular pain, I don't pay no attention to these particular pain pills. So People say, well, you can use those numbing drops. Well, you can't, because the numbing drops, from what my doctor told me, after a while you keep using them consistently. Because, doctors have this special numbing drops, whatever it is, that they put in your eye, which actually did give me relief the day I went and visited him, so I got to go home and at least catch up on some sleep. But anyways, they burn a hole right in the cornea, so yeah, that's out the window. Guess having a bad eye has been quite the eye-opening experience. No pun intended. Anyways. I didn't bring y'all here for that. I didn't want to talk to y'all about that. I wanted to talk to y'all about something that's even more near and dear to my heart, which is my wife's autism, and how we've been dealing with that. That's a horse of a whole different color right there, boy. It's been a nightmare for her. She has, not only is it hard on her, but, I guess the medical professionals are still in their infancy. Sun's going down behind me, so I'm sorry for the glare. They just don't know how to deal with it, and my wife's went and seen a psychiatrist. They're pretty, I guess the best way I can describe psychiatry is just like any other medical profession. They never want to treat the root cause. They only want to treat the symptoms. Well, you're depressed. Well, yes. Well, we got a pill for that. Well, you're anxious. Well, yes. Well, we've got a pill for that. You're this, you're that. We got a pill for this. We got a pill for that. We got a pill for this. We got a pill for that. Well, now I'm having these thoughts of doing this. Well, we've got a pill for that. Don't take this pill, now take this pill. Kind of like with my eye, Well, we got an eye drop for that. Well, your pressure's low in your eye. We got an eye drop for that. Well, your pressure's high. We got an eye drop for that. you see, I mean, it's and I ain't trying to slam doctors. Well, I kind of am, and I kind of ain't. And I'll tell you why I kind of am. I kind of am because, as a doctor, take an oath of healing. An ethical oath. And we become such a bureaucratic, regulated sort of community. And I do use the word community because when people let stuff like this just get out of hand, where bureaucrats and state-ofoids and city-ofoids and federal-ofoids can insurance companies can all regulate doctors to the point to where dare I say, as I call ourselves, cattle. That's what happens as we become cattle. And we're shuffled through the system. And it's a shame. You can't let doctors doctor. You can't let nurses nurse. And I'm gonna say this to the medical professionals out there too. You're not you're not guilt-free on this because you let it happen to yourselves too, you know, or you accept it, or you're complacent to it without argument. What they've been doing to my wife is wrong. I know autism can't be cured. It's a lifelong condition. It's a wiring of the brain. It has nothing to do with anything other than, hey, this is just a neurotypical brain versus a non-neurotypical brain versus a neurotypical brain, okay? It's something that they're born with. Some may say that it's accentuated by vaccines. I don't know. I'm not here to say one way or the other. What I will tell you is, for someone with autism, it's a debilitating scenario for them. A lot of people can get along fine with it for a period of time, and then it hits them. They call it high masking. Okay, I'm sure you probably were walking around. You may know someone that has autism, or they're within what they call the spectrum. It's how can I put it? We're a medical profession that has so relied on the advancement of technology that we've lost our humanity. We've lost touch with the human condition. We've lost the empathy to deal with those that are suffering. And you see it throughout society in general. Society has become numb. It amazes me when I hear people say, they hold doctors in regards to gods. They're not. If there were gods, I'd be able to see out this eye right now. First time. Fixed. They're not gods. There's people. Maybe we need to stop idolizing these folks. And maybe these folks need to stop treating us like cattle. I guess is my point. We're not. And I guess it was really poignant with me this last visit that my wife and I went and saw her doctor, which, by the way, is no longer her doctor. You know, and I don't know which part of the round robin it's involved in with this, as if it's if it's the profession, if it's the industry, if it's the government, parts of some, all of the above. But sooner or later, it's got to stop. I mean, we have to make this go away, don't we? I mean, don't we need to regain our humanity? I certainly hope so. I'm going into almost 22 minutes now, chewing on y'all's ear. But, you know, I like to review pipe tobaccos and this and that, everything else. But also, I think I'm coming to the point in my life to where I'd rather just sit here in this woodshed and smoke and ponder things and share my thoughts, however ridiculous they might be or however solid they might be. They're just thoughts. They're thoughts of humanity. And that's where we really need to be. So we need to just think about our human condition when it's all said and done, folks. Because in the end, that is really what matters the most, is the human condition. That being said, I thank you. I appreciate y'all. Let me chew on your ear and sit here and smoke in the woodshed and talk to you about my little thoughts and feelings about stuff. Y'all take care now. Hopefully we'll talk soon. See ya. Bye-bye.